the big inflection point for me in my growth, but was when I started hanging out with guys who were just surrounded by women all the time instead of guys who said they were. These were the first guys that I ever saw that like they would go to a club and 70 girls would come with them and their girlfriends were always 10s. Yeah. And their girlfriends were having threesomes with them and other 10s. Those were the first guys I ever met that were like that. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to pay attention to what they're doing and not so much to what like the theoretical pickup guys were. Because the second, third, and fourth derivatives of mystery were significantly worse than mystery.
Right.
And then when direct game came out, bro, it was terrible. It was really. And then they get older and you're like, hey man, you know, post a funny meme and like, I don't want to, I'm afraid of what people will say to me. And then the first woman or the first their fat aunt or whoever who says something to them are like, I can't believe you posted that. It's not like you to post something like that. The first one who does it, they collapse. Right. They're like, Michael, I got to stop posting this. Women are complaining. And I'm like, but they still have sex with you, right? It's like, yeah, but they're complaining. I'm like, then stop listening to them. And by the way, the better looking the guy is, the more susceptible he is to the idea that women criticize his social media account. So he stops posting pictures with hot girls. So he stops taking chances. The more attractive a guy is, the harder it is. The richer the guy is, the harder it is. But when you have a dude who just has nothing to lose, he's like a 5'6" Filipino dude, and you tell him to post this crazy, he'll do it. He doesn't give a because he has nothing to lose. And he gets more improvement than anyone else.
I mean, when you're at rock bottom, you can only go up, right?
Because he has no stupid stories to tell himself. And that's the reason why he crushes it. It was one saying, if you ever met a firearms instructor, the easiest people to teach are like those soccer moms who've never shot a gun before because you can teach them correct technique. The hardest people to teach are guys who think they know how to shoot guns and have no idea what they're doing. Same thing when teaching a guy to shoot free throws. Like a lot of times it's better, these guys who are hit rock bottom, they don't even know what success tastes like. So when you teach them the right way, they just do it the right way. They don't mix in all their other bullshit. But the clients I have that's so much problem with is when I teach them social circle, and then they take everything I said and they just mix in their pickup with social circle. It's like social circle plus. It's like I'm using Michael's social circle techniques to get me around hotter girls so I can be creepier around hotter girls instead of listening to exactly what I tell them.
Yeah, dude, that's actually a good segue and one of the topics I wanted to really elaborate on. And we talked about it while we were in the cold plunge yesterday. You talked about like, you know, the route that pickup went through, but there was actually like a phase of pickup where, hey, it started off with mystery being really good, and then it went downhill from there. Yeah. So, and a lot of people think it should be obvious because you've had mystery on the podcast, but a lot of people think you outright hate all of pickup and everything that it's done. So elaborate on like the phases that it went through.
Like the 20th closest people in the world to me, Owen Cook and Mystery are two of them. Like, so I don't hate pickup or pickup artists. I just think the way it was taught, like post 2010, was super inefficient because they started getting into direct game and spin them around and shout out to Bad Boy, like you spin the girl around, and I was like, this is such bad game because you're showing way too much intent and you're actually, it's just very poor. Now, I want to say this really quick. It seems to be all the rage now for people who are in the manosphere who were red pill and aren't anymore to like Rollo Tomasi. And it seems to be all the rage for all these pickup artists to talk about mystery. You wouldn't exist. Every single PUA right now, you should thank Eric von Markovic. I just saw on Chris Williamson the other day, they were talking about Neil Strauss, the world's #1 pickup artist. He was never the world's #1 pickup artist. Mystery was always better than him. Okay? The idea that you literally have a space with which to make money and you want to talk about Eric, you're a clown. None of you should talk about Eric. And the idea that any of you are sitting there with a microphone in front of you trying to talk about women are like this and men are like this, and you have anything bad to say about Rollo Tomasi, you need to shut the up because you wouldn't have a place to speak even if you don't like him. I'm including Destiny in this. Even if you don't like him, this discussion on YouTube about intersexual dynamics came from So Suave Forum, Rational Male, and then Rollo coming on in like 2015. He had a radio show before that. Rollo created the space. It would be the equivalent of Charles Oppenheimer Erwin Schrödinger making fun of fucking Isaac Newton because Isaac Newton didn't know about quantum mechanics. Fuck you. Isaac Newton had very little to work with. He did the best he could, and the man was a genius. You stand on the shoulders of giants. The things that Mystery did were the best things that you could. In 2003, what Mystery taught was the best shit you could possibly learn. It was. Now, the world changed.
Which was what?
Which was hardcore cold approach pickup indirect game. It was the in the world. The problem is when 2011 happened and then all of a sudden Instagram came out, it's just there was this massive software update to intersexual dynamics, and what I've been doing since then is teaching the software update. Right. That's MOA is a software update for anybody who was involved. And that's why we have so many guys who like got married in our program and got divorced. And when they were single, they were doing pickup Neil Strauss, mystery method. and then they got married, and then once they got divorced, then they're coming back to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. What do I do on Instagram? I don't know what's going on. But like none of you, any of us that we're talking right now, I am having a discussion right now about intersexual dynamics on YouTube. I am the first person on earth to introduce Rollo Tomasi to Mystery. I'm the first. They both of them were on my show at the same time. The idea that you guys want to sit there and talk, you can disagree with them, but calling them an old man or stupid, you're a ungrateful piece of shit. Anybody who does that. And by the way, you guys have heard me say this before. I think I would really wish that Mystery would get way more into social media. I do.
Yeah.
I think he'd be fantastically better if he did that. But
you said you think he'd be the best in the world if he did that.
I think if Mystery did what I did. Now, the thing is also Mystery's like, he has a wife and kids, or he has kids now. Like, he's in a different place in his life. He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
If we went back and took 03 Mystery, put him today, and then taught him social media stuff, I think he'd be the best in the world. Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. The first time I met Mystery, he pulled a threesome with 2 strippers, and they were both really hot. The very first time I met him. Like, the difference with Mystery and all these other guys is that Mystery had to prove everything he said. The guys now, they can sit there and pay girls to come on their social media and then make it look like they have social proof when they don't. They can go to countries where women make no money whatsoever, and they can pretend to have game, and they can get away with it. Like, Mystery couldn't do that. Mystery did not have that ability to do that. He had to. I've seen him, and the thing is, like, I can't do what he can do. None of us can. He's like the guy's like an actor. He can like pull out of his ass. Like, he's memorized routines better than anyone I've ever seen. And when he does it, he's really good at it. But I learned so much from watching him be able to emote in a certain way that still makes him look masculine and strong. So it's very different. Like, he doesn't go direct. And Dan talks about the same thing. The big inflection point for me in my growth, and I still love Mystery, but was when I started hanging out with guys who were just surrounded by women all the time instead of guys who said they were. So Mystery didn't, because he was always moving from city to city, didn't have time to make a social circle, right? These were the first guys that I ever saw that, like, they would go to a club and 70 girls would come with them, and their girlfriends were always 10s. Yeah. And their girlfriends were having threesomes with them and other 10s. Those were the first guys I ever met that were like that. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to pay attention to what they're doing and not so much to what like the theoretical pickup guys were, because the second, third, and fourth derivatives of Mystery were significantly worse than Mystery.
Right.
And then when Direct Game came out, bro, it was terrible. It was really. And I know some of you guys. Like, shout out to Lucario. I love these guys. Alan Roger Curry, Mode One, all these guys. I get what you're saying. I understand why you're doing what you're doing. It's not, and I shouldn't say terrible because that sounds really judgmental. What I mean to say, it's less efficient.
Yeah.
For really attractive women, going direct works when you're 6'3" Australian with 6-pack abs and a tattoo sleeve, and you drive a Bugatti. When you're like that, going direct, yeah, go direct.
Yeah.
For the other 99% of you, going direct, all it does is it only works for women who already like you, but going indirect using men of action or using social status or social circle, that's for women who don't like you yet, and you're going to manufacture attraction with those women.
100%.